Hello friends, so I am back with the second video of the video series on sorting of materials into groups class 6th science. I am Roshni from Learner Hub, the free learning platform where you get to learn anything about science and maths absolutely for free at learnerhub.com. So in today's video, our agenda is to further learn about few properties of objects and their materials. To be more specific, we are going to talk about solubility and flotation in water. Not just that, we will also talk about transparent, translucent and opaque objects, and after that we will also look at some of the questions. So what are we waiting for? Let's get started.
Solubility is for example, you think of this. You have a sugar solution. You put 2 teaspoons of sugar into water and mix it well. What do you get? You get a watery liquid. You do not get to see the particles of the sugar because it gets completely dissolved in the water. So we say that sugar is soluble in water. Whereas if you take 2 teaspoons of sand and put it into water, what happens? It doesn't mix properly with water, so you are still able to see the sand particles inside water. So we say that sand is insoluble in water. So a soluble solution would look somewhat like this, and insoluble particles when put into water would look somewhat like this. Now here we are going to discuss solubility in water. However, solubility can be discussed for any other liquids. For example, a particular material can be soluble in oil, it can be soluble in water, it can be soluble in any other fluid. So let's first talk about the soluble substances. So these are those substances which dissolve in water completely. So let us look at some examples of soluble substances. Think of sugar, salt. These are some very common examples. Even liquids are also soluble in water. Some liquids, for example, vinegar is one such example. Lime juice is another such example. So these are liquids, but they are completely soluble in water. Whereas when we talk about substances which are insoluble, that is, even if we try to mix them, no matter how much ever hard you try to mix them in water completely, but they will not dissolve completely. You will still be able to see their particles inside water. So the best example to understand this would be sand. So when you put some sand inside water, doesn't matter how much ever you stir, but what you get is some sand will remain at the bottom. So you will be able to see the particles. So you will actually not get a uniform clean solution. So sand is an example of insoluble substance. Chalk powder is another example of insoluble substances. So these insoluble substances, sometimes they settle at the bottom of the liquid, sometimes they float on the surface of the liquid, but you will always be able to see these particles distinctly. A lot of liquids are also insoluble. For example, coconut oil, you have other cooking oil. So these oils, mustard oil, coconut oil, these are also insoluble in water. So if you try to mix them with water, just try it out yourself. Take some mustard oil, put it in a glass of water, and what do you see? You can very distinctly see the mustard oil layer and the water layer separately. So generally the mustard oil layer will settle at the top. So that's how you will be able to understand that they do not mix completely. The next thing that we are going to talk about is flotation in water. Now, since we are talking about insoluble substances, now those substances which do not dissolve completely in water, two things can happen to them. Either they settle at the bottom or they remain on the surface. So if they remain on the surface, we say that the object is floating. So think of a paper boat on water. So when you put a paper boat on running water, what happens? The boat always remains on the surface of the water and it keeps moving with the water. So we say that the boat is floating. Whereas if you throw a stone into water, what happens? It doesn't float with the water. It goes inside. So it basically sinks. So the insoluble substances, we saw that either they settle at the bottom, that is they sink, or they remain on the surface, that is they float. So again, some substances float in water, whereas some other substances sink in water. Now let's look at the objects which float in water. So some of the common examples are the mustard oil, You think of wood. So both solids and liquids can float on water. So if you take a plank of wood, you put it into the river, it doesn't sink, it doesn't go into the bottom of the river, it remains on the surface and it keeps floating. You think of balloons. So if you put balloons, in fact the balls also, which you generally find near the sea beach areas, so these kind of balloons, they also float on the surface of water. A lot of plastic toys, they also made up of rubber. So the rubber toys, they also tend to float on water. The feather being very light, it also floats on water. So these are some examples of objects which float on water. On the other hand, there are objects which sink. The best example would be coins made up of metals. You think of marbles, they also sink in water. Think of stones or pebbles, they sink in water. You think of any metal objects, most of the metal objects, they sink in water, like a metal key or a metal nail. So all these tend to sink in water. Now, a question that might bother you is why some objects float while others sink? What is the reason behind floating or sinking? So the main reason behind is density. Now, what is density? So density is nothing but mass per unit volume of any object. Now I hope all of you know mass. What is mass? Okay, so and volume. So density is mass per unit volume. So all those objects whose density, if density of the object is less than the density of water, then the object would float. So if density of object is less than density of water, then the object would float. And if the density of object is more than the density of water, then the object will sink. So basically the object with lower density will remain on the top. So here you take example of the iron nail. So when you think of the iron nail, its density is more. That is why it sinks. Now, when you think of the paper boat, its density is less. That's why it floats. Now, you might ask me that, okay, so you are saying that the iron nail would sink because its density is more. But what about the big ships which are made up of iron? So the ship body is also made up of iron. So how do they sail on the water? So that's because, so that's an interesting thing to know. Now the body of big boats or ship, they are also made up of iron, but the design of the ship is done in such a way that the overall density of the ship is less than the density of water. So how can the design control the density? Because the design can control the area and volume of the ship. So by controlling the area and volume, you can actually manipulate the density, and that's how that is why you would have seen that ship or boats, they have a specific shape, and that's how they are able to travel through water. So that the density is the main concept behind flotation of objects. So that is why some objects float while other objects sink. So now we are going to talk about a very interesting property of various materials, and that's transparency. Now you might be very confused with the term that what is transparency? Okay, so let's talk about it in terms of light. So this is a property which is associated with light. Now, while we learnt about light in physics, we saw that light enables us to see various things around us. Now, there are certain objects which allow light to pass through them, whereas there are certain other objects which do not allow light to pass through them. So whether an object allows or doesn't allow light to pass through them, that decides the transparency of an object. Now, there are three categories of objects. Now, when it comes to whether light can pass through all the objects, does every object allow light to pass through them? So, based on this criteria, all objects can be classified into three types: transparent, translucent, and opaque. So, these are the three categories of objects. So transparent objects are those objects which allow light completely to pass through them. So think of the glass window panes. Now when you look through the glass window panes, you are able to see the scenery outside. You are able to see the trees and the buildings outside because the glass panes allow light to pass through them, and that's why you are able to see things, because you can see things only when there is light. If there is no light, you will not be able to see anything. Similarly, you think of a glass. So when you look through this glass, you can see what is there inside the glass. But if you take a stainless steel glass, you will not be able to see what is there inside the glass. That's because here also the glass is a transparent object, so it allows light to pass through it. So transparent objects here, if you look at this magnifying glass, this is also transparent, and that is why you are able to see through it. When it comes to translucent objects, so these are those objects which partially allow light to pass through them. So not completely, but at least to some extent, and that is why we will not be able to see objects clearly through translucent objects. Let's say this is a white sheet of paper on which a bird is drawn. So now we can very clearly see the bird. Let's say we put a translucent film over it, a translucent paper over it. What happens? We are still able to see the bird, but it becomes unclear because not enough light is able to pass through it. Similarly, if you look at a cube of ice, so through that ice cube you cannot see everything clearly on the other side, but you just get to see a hazy impression. So here you can see the objects on the other side, but not very clearly. So it will just give you a hazy view. So if you look at this frosted glass, this is how you see. So you can just see green color, white color, green color. Green color shows that there might be something like a tree, but you cannot see the tree distinctly. But had it been a plain glass, you would have been able to see the tree very distinctly. So in translucent objects, only partially light would be allowed to pass. The third category are opaque objects, and they do not allow light to pass through them. And that is why if an opaque object is present, you will never be able to see anything that is there on the other side. Now let's say instead of a frosted glass or a plain glass, you have a block of wood. So will you be able to see what is there on the other side? No, because wood will not allow light at all to pass through it. Similarly, if you have a metal door, a wooden door, you cannot see anything which is present on the other side. So these are examples of opaque objects. So you think of this cardboard box, anything which is there inside the cardboard box, if the cardboard box is closed, you will not know what's there inside. So if you compare transparent, translucent and opaque, so this picture will give you a very clear understanding or very clear distinction between the three. So when there is a transparent object, so it will allow you to see things on the other side very clearly because it allows light completely to pass through it. When you see the same object, that is the same butterfly, through a translucent object, maybe a frosted glass, you will be able to see it but not clearly. A hazy picture will be seen. And if you have an opaque object, you will not be able to see it at all. So you see the same butterfly, some part is seen clearly because there is a transparent object before it. Some part is seen unclearly because of the presence of a translucent object, and some part is not at all seen due to the presence of an opaque object. Now let us look at some examples, and with these examples we will try to classify them as transparent, translucent or opaque objects. So this will help you to understand even better the concept of transparency. So here we see a lot of pictures. So when you talk about air, what do you think air is? Air is present all around us. So is air transparent, translucent or opaque? So definitely air is transparent. That is why we are able to see everything around us, because had air been opaque, we would have not been able to see anything that is around us, because air is present between every object, but we are able to see them. That's because air allows light to pass through it. You think of water. What do you think? It's transparent or translucent? Again, clean water is transparent. We can always see through water. Think of rock. So rock pieces. So if a big piece of rock is present, will you be able to see what is there on the other side? No. That's because rock is opaque. Think of an aluminium sheet. What would it be? So aluminium again is a metal, and aluminium sheet is also an opaque object. So if you cover anything with an aluminium foil, you do not know what's there inside because you cannot see it. Think of a mirror. So in mirror again, we can see our faces. That's because the surface is very shiny and smooth, but it doesn't allow light to pass through it because the back surface of the mirror is silvered. So we can see our face on the mirror, but we cannot see objects which is present behind the mirror. So that way mirror is also opaque. Think of wood. So the wooden board is also opaque because it doesn't allow light to pass through it. Think of the CD. So through the CD, you cannot see anything that is present behind it. So this is also opaque. You think of a polythene sheet. So polythene sheet is definitely transparent. That's because it's like a transy thing. Even if you keep it in front of your eyes, you can see what's there on the other side. Few more examples. What about smoke? So smoke is not really transparent. At the same time, it is not opaque. So it is translucent because it vaguely allows you to see what is there on the other side. A sheet of plain glass like this is going to be transparent because it clearly allows us to see everything behind it. Think of an umbrella. So that's opaque because umbrella is like it will not allow light to pass through it. However, these days transparent umbrellas are also coming up, which are made up of polythene sheets and all. Think of a wall. Wall is definitely opaque. It doesn't allow you to see through it. Think of fog. So during a foggy weather, what happens? You can see things but not very clearly. That's because it is translucent. Think of a sheet of carbon paper. So that's opaque because through it we cannot see the stuffs present behind it. You think of cellophane paper. So this cellophane paper, they are also transparent. You think of wire mesh. So they are also transparent because these wire mesh, in between them you have a lot of open spaces and that's how you are able to see through it. So that's why they are transparent. So these were a couple of examples which helped you to classify objects as transparent, translucent or opaque. Think of this cardboard box. This is definitely opaque. So with this, we have reached towards the end of this lesson. So we saw that there are various properties that a material can have. A material can be transparent, a material can float in water, a material can be soluble in water, the material can also be insoluble in oil, a material can be hard, a material can produce sound. So there are various properties that a material has. Now depending on what kind of properties a material has, we group them into different categories. So that's what we have learned here, and now we will look at some of the questions where we will see how exactly we group materials into different categories based on their properties. So question number 1. Name 5 objects which can be made from wood. A lot of things in your house are made up of wood. In fact, most of the furnitures, whether you talk about bed, you talk about table, chairs, doors, or almirah or cupboards, they are all made up of wood. So wood can be a constituent for all of these. Now, why do you think wood can be used to make these furnitures? So one thing is because wood is opaque, because you do not want your door to be transparent so that people from outside can see everything that is present inside your house, right? So opaque is one such property of wood because of which you would like wood to be used to make furniture. Secondly, wood is hard, it is not very soft, so that will give stability to all these furniture, strength, stability, structural stability to the furniture. So that is also another important property. So looking at the properties of wood, it has been decided, and that's why it is used for making furnitures. Question number 2. Select those objects from the following which shine. Glass ball, plastic toy, steel spoon, cotton shirt. So if you look at all of these, which one would you think has a shiny surface? Definitely the stainless steel spoon, because if you take it in front of you, you can actually see yourself. This surface is so shiny. If you think of the glass ball, there also the surface is shiny. It is like a smooth surface. But when you talk about a cotton shirt, it doesn't have any shine as such, because cotton on its own doesn't have any shine. You think of a plastic toy again, it doesn't have any shine of its own. Question number 3. Match the objects given below with the materials from which they could be made. Remember, an object could be made from more than one material, and a given material could be used for making many more objects. So when you talk about a book can be made up of paper, yeah. Do you think a book can be made up of glass as well? No. Wood, no. Leather, no. Plastic, no. So book can be made up of paper. Think of a tumbler. A tumbler can be a glass tumbler. A tumbler can also be a plastic tumbler. So both glass and plastic can make a tumbler. You think of a chair. So a chair can be a wooden chair. Yeah, it can be a wooden chair. A chair can also be a plastic chair. Now see, how am I deciding? Looking at their, so the basic thing behind it is their properties of these materials. So you cannot have a glass chair because glass is fragile, it will break very easily. Think of a toy. So a toy can be made up of wood. Yes, it can be made up of wood. A toy can also be made up of plastic, of course. And a toy can also be made up of a paper. For example, the paper planes, the paper boat, they are made up of paper. Think of shoes. Shoes made up of leather, yes, but glass shoes, wooden shoes, paper shoes, not really. So leather can make shoes. So that ways, you see, looking at the properties of the materials, you can decide which material can make which object. Question number 4. State whether the statements given below are true or false. Stone is transparent while glass is opaque. Absolutely false, because glass is transparent and stone is opaque. A notebook has luster while eraser does not. This is again false, because luster is shine. A notebook doesn't have any shine. Chalk dissolves in water. That is again false, because chalk powder is insoluble in water. A piece of wood floats on water. That's true, because wood has lesser density than water, so it tends to float on water. Sugar does not dissolve in water. That's again false, because sugar is highly soluble in water. Oil mixes with water. That is again false, because oil and water never mixes completely. Oil will always remain on the top of water. Sand settles down in water. That's true, because sand doesn't mix with water. Vinegar dissolves in water. That's also true. They mix up very well, and you cannot distinguish them from each other once they are mixed. Question number 5. Given below are the names of some objects and materials: water, basketball, orange, sugar, globe, apple, and earthen pitcher. Group them as round shape and other shapes. So we have grouped them this way. So you have been given 2 groups, round shaped and others. Now out of these objects, which are round in shape? Basketball, orange, globe, earthen pitcher, apple. So these are all more or less round in shape, whereas water and sugar are not. So they have been put under the group of others. Eatables, non-eatables, something that you can eat, that can be eaten, and non-eatables, that something that cannot be eaten. So see, water, orange, sugar, and apple, these are something which we eat. But can you eat a globe? No. Basketball? Of course not. Earthen pitcher? Again, no. So these are the non-eatables. So see, this is how we actually sort materials based on their properties. And then we separate into 2 or 3 groups, and we keep putting them into their respective group. Question number 6. Find the odd one out from the following: chair, bed, table, baby, cupboard. So if you look at it, all of these are furnitures. All of these are non-living substances except the baby. Baby is living. So baby is the odd one out. Rose, jasmine, boat, marigold, lotus. So you see, these are all flowers: rose, jasmine, marigold, lotus. So boat is the only odd one out. Aluminium, iron, copper, silver, sand. So here you see aluminium, iron, copper, silver, these are all metals. So sand is the odd one out. Sugar, salt, sand, copper sulfate. So you see, sugar is soluble in water, salt is again soluble in water, copper sulfate is also soluble in water, but sand is insoluble. So sand is the odd one out. So I hope that with these you are getting an idea about how sorting materials is important, and how sorting materials based on their properties can help us. So I think all that you can do as part of your assignment is just look around, see different objects, try to find out their properties, try to think that why a bottle is made up of plastic, try to find out that why your pen is made up of a metal. So you try to analyze things on your own, and I assure you that your understanding will be better. So with this, we will conclude this lesson, and I hope that this lesson would have helped you. See you all in the next lesson.
I hope you found the video useful. If at all you have a feedback to share, do let us know in the comment section. And if you liked the video, do not forget to share it with your friends. I will meet you all very soon with a new topic, with a new video. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.